Hello, dolls and grams. Let's go ahead and do a quick base routine with House Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation in the shade 580. House Labs Concealer in 52, I believe. House Labs Precision Sculpt Shaping Balm. And I'm going to use the shades Dark and I'm using the shades Model. These are the two darkest shades in the whole range. So let's go ahead and get started. And for my foundation and my concealer, I'm going to use Smashbox's stipple brush and Smashbox's highlight stipple brush as well. I'm going to use 1 pump of foundation. I'm going to season the brush. When I say season the brush, I mean go ahead and press it all on the brush. Make sure it goes inside those bristles as well. I'm going to pat first, then I'm going to bring it all over the face. Get some more. Goo. Let's go ahead and do 1 more half pump. Season the brush again. Put some on the forehead. Get some more. And put some on the nose. Now our face is looking pretty good and pretty even all around. Now let's go ahead and bronze tour. So I'm going to use the shade Dark in House Labs Precision Contour Balm. And this is the swatch of how dark looks. Look at how deep that is. And I'm going to go ahead and swatch Model. Look at how deep that is. So I'm going to use the brush, place the product onto the brush. Like so. Let me go ahead and use a mirror. And I'm going to place it in the areas where I want a little bit more bronziness. And I am blending it onto my face. To contour the nose. Like so. Now that's a good nose contour. Now that I've used Dark to bronze my face, I'm going to use Model to contour my face. Again, a little bit goes a long way. So I'm just going to use the tip of this brush. I'm going into the hollows. And do you see how much and how little I use? Let me go ahead and take the rest of this to the temple. Take it a little bit, blend it out, and take the rest onto the temple. Let me go ahead and get just a tad bit more. Take the rest and place on the temple, and then go ahead and blend out the rest. So I bronzed and contoured my face. I'm going to go and conceal my face with House Labs concealer in the shade 52, I believe. I'm going to place it on my face. I'm going to blend. And I'm going to use Danessa Myrix's Groundworks Neutral Palette. And I'm going to use the shade Mirage, which will be this shade right here. Pat it into the putty. Oh, that looks beautiful. Do a little bit of brightness on the around the nose. And to the tip of the nose. So our nose should look like this. Now I'm going to use my foundation brush and whatever else is on there, and I'm going to blend out my nose area so we won't have any harsh lines. Go back into my concealer brush, bring back that concealer. I'm going to use the Danessa Myrix Blurring Balm setting spray to help to seal my face in before I start using powders. Again, you can use this by itself on its own because it is a powder itself, it's a liquid powder itself, but I'm going to use it as a base for my powders because I like exactly the tack that it gives so other stuff can actually latch on and to stay onto the face. Again, shake it and start to spray. So now that we've sprayed ourselves, I'm gonna let it dry. I'm gonna use my fan that I got from TikTok Shop. I'm gonna use the brush that I used to bronze and contour my face. I'm just going to brush. Now you could stop with this because again, it is a powder, liquid powder. And it blurs too. This spray blurs too, so yeah, I love exactly how that looks. Now I'm going to use my Made by Mitchell Curve Case Press, and this is, I took out all of the ones that I was not using and I placed the ones that I was going to use. And this is a mixture of the deep palette and the deeper palette. So these three blushes are from the deep palette. This blush is from the deeper palette. These three bronzing and contours are from the deeper palette, and this is from the deep palette. And I'm going to use this shade from the deep palette to bronze my face with. Again, I'm using very little powder because the Danessa Myricks Blur Balm setting spray is a powder itself. So I'm just using a powder to help blend in areas where I needed a little bit more blending. Take that powder again. This place in the areas where I want a little bit more blending. Take that tip and use it on the nose. This shade from the deeper palette, and I'm going to use it to contour my face. And I'm just using the tip. So we are looking like this. Now it is time for our setting powders. And I'm going to use 2 setting powders. I'm using a setting powder that I mixed myself. And this has NARS Light Reflecting Powder up in it, along with some of the Beauty Bakery powder. And that's about it. And I'm going to use the NARS Light Reflecting Setting Powder in Sable. I'm going to go ahead and use this brush to use as setting powder. And you could just set it on the face. Again, I'm using very little powder because the Danessa Myricks Blurring Balm Setting Powder is a powder on its own. So I'm just using the powder for color. Place around the nose area. Now I'm going to use a powder puff. Press it into the powder. And start to press it all over the area where we want just a little bit more color. And a little bit on the forehead. I'm going to go ahead with my Sonia G Mini Jumbo Worker Brush to help brighten my face. And I'm going to use the Refer 22 brush to brighten my face as well. So I'm going to use the Refer 22 brush. Like so. We're going to let that sit. Now it's time for my Sonia G brush. brighten. And let's sit. Wipe off the rest. Start blending it out. Blend out the nose. So far, I'm loving exactly how my base is looking. It's looking really good. I made myself this beautiful, almost like bronzing shade. I'm going to use my DR brush to highlight my face. So I just want to use just a little bit of highlight, not a lot. And dolls and grims and my patients, this is the base look that I'm going for. I love exactly how it came out. I use Haus Labs Triclone Skin Tech Foundation in the shade 580. I use Haus Labs Sculpting Contour Balms in the shade Dark and Model Concealer in the shade 52. That's exactly what I use. I hope that y'all like this tutorial.